Okay, so this will be the guide to Operator Thogar, the famous train boss. I actually got this footage on a heroic pug kill. We had 25 people, 6 of them were healers, 2 tanks, and an assortment of melee and ranged DPS. It's best to have some sort of even split between those two in this fight because the melee DPS are really good at AoE cleaving down lots of adds, which there will be in this fight, and the ranged DPS are the only DPS that can target the turrets that will occasionally come by on trains and shoot bombs at your raid and need to be killed. So basically, this is actually a pretty simple fight. It's just the mechanics are very unforgiving. So if you mess them up even once, one person will die, and then having one person dead will mean your DPS is too low and probably cause a wipe. So basically, it's just mastering the simple mechanics that are there, and then you should be able to get through it pretty easily. Now, the only mechanic, the only two mechanics really that the boss has himself is tank debuff, which I believe you let stack up to 2, and then you can taunt. However, in this attempt, you may see that our tanks, generally speaking, let it get up to 3 before taunting. Do whatever works for your tanks. The other mechanic that the boss has is he will occasionally throw a shock grenade at a random ranged player. This is incentive to spread out if you're ranged. However, you don't want to spread out outside of the lane that you're supposed to be in, else you'll get hit by a runaway train. So it's best to just spread out inside the lane that you do have. When you get the grenade thrown at you, move out of it. It has a little suction field that brings you towards the center of it, so you have to actively move out of it and get out so you're not taking damage. And it's also an incentive for the range to not stack too close to the melee very much, or else you'll have the chance to get a grenade thrown in the melee and on the tank, which is not advisable. Now, the other mechanic that you're going to be seeing throughout this entire fight is the trains that come by. There's 4 lanes, and I believe all of the boss mods will now tell you when a train is coming and on what lane it's coming. The way we have the lanes set up right now, we're currently on lane 1, which is where the boss starts. Across from us on the far side where you enter this boss's arena will be lane 4, and 2 and 3 will be the ones between them. Basically, most boss mods now should tell you when the train is coming and on what lane it's coming in advance so that you can move out of that lane. As when a train comes by on the lane, if you're standing on that lane or even not too far off that lane, as the trains have some fire coming out of the sides of them that will also hit you, you'll get knocked up in the air and take somewhere between 90 and 100% of your health and damage. It's usually a one-shot on heroic. On normal mode, I think it's about 90% of your health, so you can survive, but people will know that you got hit by a train, and that's one of the mechanics that you need to avoid on this fight. You can't be getting hit by trains at all. There's no reason not to have your entire raid on the same lane all at one time, so it's best to just have one person in vent or somebody with an add-on that says in chat, everybody get on this lane, and everyone should move onto the same lanes at the same time, because there will always be at least one lane that's free of trains until you get to the soft enrage. After the boss has been up for about 7 minutes, he soft enrages, or rather, I guess it's a hard enrage, because he has trains come on every single lane at once, and it instantly wipes you. So basically, what you want to do is either watch your boss mod or learn the order which the trains come in so that you can avoid them through the entire fight. Now, at about 2.5 minutes and at about 4.5 minutes or so, I'm not exactly sure on the times, but your boss mod will tell you, the boss will summon trains on lane 2 and 3, the middle lanes, and these trains will be carrying adds. So you will need to either A, divide your raid into 2 groups and have one group go to one side and one group go to the other side, and take care of the adds on each of those trains, since the trains won't leave until the adds are killed. So if you don't kill the adds, then you'll be stuck with 2 lanes on lane train. You'll be stuck with 2 trains on lane 2 and 3, and when trains come on lane 1 and 4, it'll wipe you. Or the other strategy is just have everybody go to one side. Most of the adds are melee, so if you all go to one side, the adds will jump off the train on the far lane, and run through the trains, because they can do that. and stack up on you anyways. You just have to pick them up before they pick off one of your healers. And then cleave them all down, and the trains will leave. Now, there's pretty much 3 types of trains you're going to be seeing throughout this fight. One is just the standard run-by train. It just flies by and kills anybody who's standing on the tracks. And once it passes, there's no train left in the lane, and the doors close, and you can safely move into that lane once it's passed. And then there's ads trains, which run into the track that they're on, stop, and a bunch of ads jump off of them. There's a couple different kinds of ads, but for the most part, you don't really want to worry too much about the ads. You want to have a Death Knight Gorfiends grasp them all together and cleave them all down before they can use any of their mechanics. That works and is the recommended strategy. There's 2 ads that, generally speaking, have more HP than all the rest of them. One is the Man-at-Arms and the other is the Firemender. The Firemender casts a heal spell on all of the ads, so it's best to dispel that off the Man-at-Arms when he casts it, or interrupt the Firemender to prevent him from casting it. The Man-at-Arms does a big shout that does lots of AoE damage, and you have to heal through that. It's lots of raid damage, and it's basically just a healer test. The last kind of train is the cannon train. The cannon train just comes in, stops, and shoots bombs at a random ranged raid member for about, I don't know, a minute or so. If you kill the cannon train before that minute is up, then it will leave. However, if you ignore the cannon train, you don't use your range to kill the cannon, the train will leave eventually on its own. So it is a feasible strategy to have whoever gets targeted by the bombs run away and plant all the bombs somewhere far away, and then just wait for the cannon train to leave so that you can get extra DPS on the boss. That's really all there is to this fight. We used a strategy where we didn't split, and we did kill all the cannon trains, but you can adjust it depending on your DPS and your raid composition. I hope this helps.